the Office of the Ombudsman's investigation into the flood control scandal, a scheme that has for months now tested this nation's faith in the institutions meant to protect it. After a thorough and painstaking investigation, the Office of the Ombudsman is set to file two separate complaints for preliminary investigation against former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, Mr. Elizalde, and several others, one for plunder under Republic Act number 7080, and another for violation of the Anti-Money Laundering Act as amended. Let me be precise about what this announcement means and what it does not mean. A complaint for preliminary investigation is not a conviction. It is not, at this stage, a formal charge before a court. It is the office's determination that the evidence gathered is substantial enough to warrant a full and formal inquiry into whether or not the case should be filed in court. Every respondent will be given the opportunity to answer. The presumption of innocence stands, as it must, unless and until proven otherwise in the proper forum. At this point, we will ask the respondents, including former Speaker of the House, Martin Romualdez, to answer the allegations contained in the complaint and put forth his defense. Once we receive his defense and that of his co-respondents, the case will be submitted for resolution, and the decision will lie with the panel of prosecutors whether or not the case should be filed in the Sandigan Bayan. I would like to assure the public that this office follows the evidence where it leads. Regardless of the office once held, the influence still wielded, or the political weight of the name involved. Our investigation identifies former Speaker Romualdez as the central figure in a scheme built on the diversion of public funds meant for flood control projects. Funds that were supposed to shield Filipino communities from the very floods that year after year take their homes, their livelihoods, and too often their lives. His correspondents in this complaint include former Congressman Zaldico, among others. At the core of this case is the testimony this office does not take lightly. Sworn statements from 8 individuals who formerly served as Mr. Co's own security personnel. People who were present, who moved with him, who witnessed the exchanges firsthand, detailing the amounts delivered from Mr. Co to former Speaker Romualdez. This is not hearsay passed down secondhand. It is a first-hand account from those who were there. That testimony does not stand alone. It is corroborated by an independent evidentiary trail, from money exchange companies to bank transfers to shell companies, all using personalities tied to the former Speaker Martin Romualdez. The former security personnel of Mr. Zaldico record the first trace of money from Mr. Zaldico to the former Speaker. Investigation yields, however, that the money trail did not stop there. In an apparent attempt to cover up the extraordinary wealth, the money was exchanged, commingled, and laundered through an elaborate scheme. The result? Numerous luxury houses and condominiums, extravagant investments in different industries, and enough money left to change narratives, buy opinions, and attempt to destroy and manipulate evidence. Records drawn from the Anti-Money Laundering Council, money service businesses, and corporate structures that our investigators allege were used as an instrument in this scheme, when read together, tell one consistent story. Further, despite a precautionary whole departure order issued by the Sandigan Bayan, this office has received credible intelligence reports that former Speaker Martin Romualdez, has not ceased attempting to leave the country. The office calls on all relevant agencies to make sure that this does not happen. Let me make this clear. We are not done collecting evidence. We are not done filing cases. The investigation reveals more and more each day and each week. To look away at this point is contrary to the very mandate of this office. So, we build cases as the evidence comes and each element and crime becomes more apparent. As more come, the more we work and the more our cases churn. To every Filipino who has watched this scandal unfold with mounting anger and mounting doubt, who has asked again and again whether accountability would ever reach the top of the scheme or whether it would stop, as it so often has, somewhere in the middle. I say to you, the evidence has spoken, and this office has acted on it. Funds meant to hold back floodwaters were instead allegedly diverted into private hands, while communities were left exposed to the very disasters those funds were meant to prevent. The betrayal deserves and will receive the full and fair weight of the law. This office will provide further updates as these complaints proceed through preliminary investigation. We thank the media for their continued diligence in covering this case, and we thank the Filipino public for their patience as due process, real due process, is allowed to run its course. This actually is not yet the grand conspiracy case. I would like to clarify na ito ay galing doon sa 8 former personnel, security personnel ni Zaldico. And from those statements, we were able to build a completely different case. And yung mga nakakorroborate ho dito ay hindi pa po si Secretary Manny Bonoan. So, ito ay patungkol doon sa kanyang amassing of wealth, no? Yung pag-launder niya ng pera, and ultimately, as we have identified a predicate crime, it will also result in the crime of plunder. So, as I alluded to in my speech, na hindi pa ito yung huling kaso, yun po ang ibig ko sabihin. Na meron pang grand scheme or grand conspiracy of plunder that we are still looking at, and which involves the 2025 budget of the House. So this is separate from that. Pero as I mentioned dito sa aking statement, hindi po pwede na antayin namin lahat ng ebidensya para mag-file na kami. Once we have enough evidence to support a case, especially that if it's for plunder, we will file it already. At hindi na namin antayin yung ibang kaso niya para sabay-sabay, hindi ho ganon. So kung ano po yung mauna, yun po i-file namin. Kakasabit lang po ng fact-finding teams natin ng complaints sa preliminary investigation. Ang proseso ho doon, yung officer in charge doon sa preliminary investigation ay magbibigay or mag-i-issue ng order to file counter affidavit. At doon ho natin makikita yung date. Hindi ko pa nakikita po yung order to file counter affidavit. Pero malamang po sa hindi, it will be issued sometime this week. Well, the new rules provide for a 60-day period for preliminary investigation to take its course. So from the time na sumagot po si former Speaker Romualdez sa complaints laban sa kanya, we can expect that the resolution would come out in a reasonable amount of time. Pero itong pag-file po na complaint from FF finding to the preliminary investigation team sets that ball in motion already. So time periods have to be followed. Wala na pong preno-preno dito dahil tumatakbo na po yung panahon para sumagot at ma-resolve yung kaso. Kagaya po ng sinabi ni Ombudsman, tuloy pa po yan. At yung mga kaso ho na yan ay, well, for one, yung kay Senator Joel, hindi po sang-ayon yung ating mga investigador doon sa findings po ng Department of Justice. So, once na-endorse po yung kaso galing sa DOJ, meron pa pong gustong dagdagan yung ating mga investigador dito dahil nagkaroon po ng parallel investigation. I just want to remind na nung nasa DOJ pa po kasi yung kaso ni Senator Joel, iilan lang po sa mga witnesses or testigo ang pumunta sa DOJ. Dahil if you will remember, at that time na nandun pa po si Ombudsman Remulla bilang kalihim ng kagawaran, nagsimula na ho kami ng pag-i-interview ng mga testigo doon. So yun lang po ang siguro na interview ng DOJ. Pagdating ho dito, meron na pong parallel investigation na naganap din. So we are reconciling the facts and the evidence for that case, pero patuloy pa din po yan. Itong kaso po ni former Speaker Martin Romualdez, alam ko po marami pong nainip dito. Pero dito po kami, siguro ito po yung strength ng Office of the Ombudsman dahil sa bagong rules namin na hindi po kami magfa-file hanggat hindi siya malakas. So, kailangan ho talaga lahat ng elemento ng bawat crime ay na-fulfill ng ebidensya, na-satisfy ng ebidensya. Yung mga actors that I mentioned here, money exchanges, shell companies, bank transfers, yung mga personalities po na involved dyan sa scheme of layering ay kasama din po sa complaint. Nananawagan ho kami sa mga ahensya na may kinalaman sa border security at siguro yung mga ating mga law enforcement agencies na sana po ay bantayan nyo na po yung mga galaw, dahil nakakuha po ang office natin ng intelligence reports na kahit meron na po siyang precautionary hold departure order, may balak pa din po siyang umalis. And sa amin po, dahil matagal na naming ini-investigate itong kaso na ito, matagal na naming gustong i-file to actually, although of course we had to let it go through the proper process, the right evidence gathering, at nandito na tayo sa punto na ito, sana po hindi masayang yung ating trabaho at ating effort dito. So kaya namin siguro nire-remind yung ating law enforcement agencies, pati na rin ang ating border control, to please watch out. Dahil malamang sa hindi niyan, lalabas ho siya sa informal channels at hindi sa formal borders natin. May PHDO na siya. Ibig po sabihin yan, hindi na po siya makakaalis gamit ang ating mga normal or formal borders. Airport, seaport. Pero itong intelligence ho natin, kailangan bantayin lahat. So we really hope na itong mga border control agencies, pati na po yung law enforcement agencies, could be on top of this. Sa preliminary investigation stage po kasi, pag hindi po sumagot ang isang respondent, ibig po sabihin, parang niwe-waive na po niya. Actually, niwe-waive na po talaga niya yung kanyang karapatan para sumagot at maghain ng counter affidavit na ang nilalaman ho niyan ang kanyang depensa. So, we will have to resolve the case on the basis na lang po dun sa allegations sa complaint. So, wala na po siyang chance to defend himself in this forum. As I said, we're getting more and more confident as the days go by. Mas marami kaming nakukuhang ebidensya, impormasyon, testigo habang tumatagal po ang panahon dahil marami na pong nagkusang loob na lumabas at magsabi kung ano talaga ang katotohanan. Bagamat itong grand case ay isang bagay na kailangan tama ang approach natin. Dahil pag final natin at hindi pa tayo sure or manipis ang kaso, hindi pa supported by evidence yung kaso natin, puro allegation lang, at yan ma-dismiss sa Sandigan Bayan, mag-attach po kasi ang double jeopardy. Ibig po sabihin, hindi na po pwedeng mag-file ulit ang ombudsman on the same set of facts. Kaya lagi kong sinasabi na we only have one shot, we only have one chance to get this right dahil doon sa konseptong double jeopardy. So iniiwasan ho natin yan. Kailangan kumpleto ang ebidensya, kumpleto ang kaso bago tayo mag-file sa Sandigan Bayan. Explain ko din yan. So yung 8 na former security personnel ni former Speaker Romualdez, yun ang naging starting point ho natin. Nung nakita natin allegations at na-identify or siguro napansin ng mga investigators na consistent po at categorical yung mga sinasabi nila, nagano sila, nag-investigate pa sila ng mas malalim para i-verify ho yung mga sinasabi ng mga ex-bodyguard or ex-security personnel ni Zaldico. Nung ginawa nila yon, mas marami pa silang nakuhang ebidensya na sumusuporta dun sa mga sinasabi ng ex-bodyguard or ex-security personnel. So much so na kahit po bumaliktad na ang ating mga ex-bodyguard or ex-security personnel, tatayo pa rin yung impormasyon na binigay nila sa atin dahil sa mga iba't ibang mga ebidensya, records, testimonya ng ibang tao. So, we are doubly confident now in this case dahil kahit wala na po sila, although naging starting point sila at sila din ay crucial dito sa kaso na ito dahil sila mismo ang nag-deliver ng pera, we have become more confident in the case that we have brought up now to the preliminary investigation stage. Basta, ito lang ang masasabi ko po, no? Nakakuha tayo ng impormasyon na gusto niyang umalis. Knowing fully well, alam niya na po na meron na siyang precautionary hold departure order. Ngayon, kung ganyan po ang intention ng isang tao na meron ng precautionary hold departure order, ang presumption natin ay hindi talaga siya dadaan sa formal borders. Dahil alam niya na po na bawal na siyang umalis. Meron na po siyang hold departure order galing sa korte. So, hindi naman siguro siya susubok pa sa formal borders natin dahil haharangin talaga siya. So, na-cover na natin po yung ating mga formal borders at alam niya na po dahil yung mga representatives niya ay nandoon naman sa Sandigan Bayan para ipaglaban na hindi sana maisyuhan ng PHDO. Pero dahil may impormasyon nga tayo na gusto pa rin niyang umalis, malamang sa hindi, through informal channels na po yan.
Sa nabanggit po ni Senator Padilla kanina na nakapag-file na daw po siya dito sa ombudsman ng kanyang counter affidavit.
Buti naman po at meron siyang pinakita na isang counter affidavit. Original pa po daw ang pinakita niya. Bagamat hindi ho siya nagre-reflect sa aming sistema. And it had already, the time to file a counter affidavit had already lapsed. So we will rely on what our system says and we will take it from there. So as of right now, only Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's counter affidavit reflects in our system. Okay?